What it is. What it is, everybody. Big show today. Excuse me. Big show today. Massie versus Gallrein. It's the most important election in the history of Israel, apparently. So, welcome to the show. I'm a little early. When I set up the show, I have to say I'll be on in 30 minutes. So you get a notification. So, but I actually got on faster. So I'm here early. The polls close in 25 minutes. So we'll see how fast it wraps up. But hopefully it doesn't take too long to wrap up after 6. Do you want to see the odds? I haven't checked yet. What's up, LM Barker, DC Hawaii, Orwell Today, Gloria? Good to see you also, GTSY. Welcome. I am back. I thought today was a good day to come back just because it's a big election day. This is the ultimate test. This is the test to see if Trump will dominate politics until he's dead, pretty much. Because honestly, if Massie loses, then Trump will be president of the GOP until death, probably, pretty much. He'll pretty much choose every candidate, and nobody will be able to do anything other than what Donald Trump says forever. He'll be emperor of the Republican Party. That's my read on it, at least. And it's not looking good from what I understand, although I haven't been following it super closely. I thought Massie was going to win. Originally, the odds were pretty good, but they have pulled out all the stops. DC Hawaii says, did you wager on Massie? No, but should I? I was thinking about it. That would get me more engaged. But I haven't done enough research to feel like I have an edge. I could just like a sympathy wager because I hope he wins. That's what a lot of people do, I guess. I hope he wins, but I actually don't know if it's a good bet or not. I think he is currently not favored to win based on the last readout of Polymarket or Kalshi that I saw, but I'll check in on it. Gloria says Massie will lose. So much dirt came out about him. Really sad. I've heard the dirt was fake, though. Except that he was having lots of sex, Laura Loomer said. Laura Loomer said he was drowning in pussy, which is kind of an interesting attack. Laura Loomer apparently said something like that Thomas Massie was drowning in pussy, which would make me want to vote for him. But there were text messages. Yeah, the boner phone, I think she called it. She's the worst person on earth, I would. Well, I don't know. There's lots of competition for that title. She's a terrible person, though. She's a hatchet. She's the hatchet for Trump, pretty much. But also, she doesn't always agree with Trump. She's not going to be happy with the results from Iran, for example. She wants to kill all the mullahs. She won't be happy unless we nuke them, pretty much. And Trump is too scared to do that. Trump tacoed yesterday. He tacoed on something like the tacos are so good now. He tacoed on something he didn't even announce ahead of time. He's just tacoing on his own bullshit, pretty much. It was like, oh yeah, I was planning to, he never told anybody he was planning to attack Iran. He never told Iran that or anything. It was never really a threat. And then he just tacoed on it anyway, which had the desired result. The stock market went up and oil dropped momentarily. But the tacos aren't nearly as effective as they used to be. We're this close to a deal. Again, this is why it's difficult to do a show every day. Because always, literally, it's Groundhog Day. every day. Every day we're this close to a deal. Every day, the Strait of Hormuz is open or something. Every day Iran is not going to have nuclear weapons. They've agreed. And it's always just a lie every single time. So we got another one of those yesterday. Apparently, the Gulf countries talked Trump out of attacking Iran this time because he can't say he chickened out, which is what he did. But I can cover that news too. So we can cover some of that news. The text messages were what? I heard that he took Viagra to go through TSA security checkpoints. That's actually kind of amusing. That would also make me want to vote for him. And so that he would have a boner when they felt him up. Oh, yeah. Ed Gallrein is really favored. So I'll log in. Maybe I'll place a bet, $100 or something. I think I have that much money in my Kalshi account, unless I cashed out. I might have. Oh, no. I have a couple $100 in my Kalshi account. Ed Gallrein is favored 62 to 39. So if you bet on Massie, if you bet $100, you'd win pretty good money, actually. 200 and something. And then there are other primaries today, too. But yeah, Ed Gallrein is kind of spiking. Let's see. I could show you. Hello, brave little toaster. Gallrein only recently overtook Thomas Massie in the odds. I heard one of the accusations that he paid someone off was false. But that was spread by some big accounts, including the gay Benny Johnson account. Every Benny Johnson account is gay, but let's see. Share screen. Kalshi. There it is. So the odds are increasing for Thomas Massie. Let's see. Okay, right here. This is over today, but even like just this moment, the odds for Ed Gallrein are increasing. Let's look over a week. And he just overtook Massie a few days ago in the odds to win. There's a longer term chart. So yeah, Thomas Massie this month was favored 75%. So I thought he was going to win. Apparently the politics in Kentucky are pretty favorable for Thomas Massie. Like, hello, am I here? My internet sucks, man. I have Spectrum. I just connected to my phone. I see myself now, so it should be working. Yeah, okay. Everything should be working again. I'm streaming using tethering to my phone now. I got to change my internet service. You guys still there? Trump took me out. Israel probably. It's probably the Jews. So anyway, these are the odds. I can spend $100, I guess. I don't want to just throw money away. Gloria said the dirt on Massie is bad. The boner phone. I heard it was called a boner phone. There were phone text messages. Do you want to see what they were? I guess I could look them up. Let's look up. Or should I bet? Let's see. Okay. Sure. Well, no, I don't know if he's going to win. So it's stupid to bet. When I bet on Trump, I knew he was going to win. So when I bet on Biden, I knew he was going to win too. But I don't know actually who's going to win this race. I have zero edge. I haven't been following polls or anything. Loomer, Massie. Let's see what her texts are. Her shared. Oh, he said that he slept with Lauren Boebert, which is kind of cool. I don't mind that. Let's see. And now Trump is going after Lauren Boebert too. I mean, Trump is out of control. I really hope Massie wins. So here is the text messages that Laura Loomer revealed from what she called a boner phone. He called his penis a pine cone. Pine cone set the machine off again. Why would pine cone set the machine off again? I got the full groin pat down from a dude, though, it says. Dude touched him multiple times. It's weird that he got a boner if it was a male TSA agent. But apparently he was having sex with lots of females, according to Laura Loomer. Laura Loomer says if Thomas Massie wins, I'm leaving the country. Did she really say that? Polls close in Kentucky in 4 hours. Be sure you vote against Thomas Massie today. Trump has been going crazy, calling him the worst congressman ever. I mean, he's my favorite congressperson. But just him being my favorite doesn't mean I bet on him. Unfortunately, I feel like the trend is going against him. All of Trump's recent challenges to Republicans, he mostly goes after Republicans who challenge him on various things. He got all of the Indiana local senators or whatever they were beaten in primaries because they wouldn't redistrict for him. And who knows who these people are? That's the thing. Like, nobody cares who Ed Gallrein is. Ed Gallrein said he wants a draft. I feel like Massie could have done a better job elevating some of the things that Ed Gallrein has said because they've been kind of ridiculous. Let me see if I saved any of them. Here's what the Jews are saying about him. In Haaretz, it says, the most consequential Republican primary for Israel is happening in Kentucky. The most consequential Republican primary for Israel is happening in Kentucky. Apparently, the spending on this race is the highest ever for a congressional race. It's mostly from wealthy Jews, like the casino person, female now, her husband's dead. And other pro-Israel groups. He is against, among other things, is against sending money to Israel, but that's not even what he's most known for. He's one of the people who supported the Epstein release of the files, one of the most important ones. He pioneered that legislation with Ro Khanna, and then a few other Congress people got on board who Trump has really gone after all of them. I think Boebert was one of them. Marjorie Taylor Greene was one of them, of course. And Thomas Massie was one of them. And Trump wants them all to lose. Trump invited a primary challenger against Lauren Boebert because she went to campaign for Thomas Massie. The only reason these MAGA retards don't like Thomas Massie is because Trump doesn't like him, pretty much. There's no good reason not to like Thomas Massie if you're a conservative. He just votes against spending packages, taxation, sending money to foreign countries, pretty much. Ed Gallrein today posted that he voted against the Save America Act, which he voted in favor of. So Ed Gallrein is lying about him. Thanks, Pirate Justin, for the $2. Says Massie is one of the few statesmen we have left. Yeah, we have like him and another person Trump hates, Rand Paul. Did you guys hear the story about Rand Paul's son, who got drunk in a bar and said that it was the Jews and the faggots? Well, he didn't say that. Apparently, the Jews and the gays, he said, that were responsible for the war in Iran, I believe. I don't know how the gays got in there. So he went up to a Republican congressman or senator who was in the bar on Capitol Hill with a reporter, apparently. That was the first mistake. So there was a reporter there to witness it. He thought this congressperson was Jewish and said it was his people's fault. Then the guy said, well, I'm not Jewish. Then he said, okay, well, it's the Jews and the gays, and I don't care if they die. That's what Rand Paul's son said, allegedly. So and then apparently he apologized for it on Twitter and said he was drunk and is getting help for his alcohol problems. So I guess he kind of admitted to it. But you don't do the stuff like that in front of a reporter. So what do you think? Do you think that's what Rand Paul thinks? They always say libertarians are anti-Semitic. And libertarians are often known for Holocaust questioning too, including some prominent Jewish libertarians. Ellen Barker says the guy didn't even show up to one debate with Massie, and there were 11 of them. Yeah, this guy Gallrein, I mean, he didn't even campaign. He barely raised any money except from wealthy Jewish donors. People don't know who he is. He said Donald Trump is playing 5D chess. That was one of the things he said on Iran. He said Trump is playing 5D chess. You guys heard that Trump said he doesn't care about people, right? So these are some of the news stories while I've been gone. They asked Trump if he thought about what Americans were struggling with in terms of whether he wanted to make any concessions with Iran. He said, no, I don't think about the American people at all. I just think Iran shouldn't have a nuclear weapon. That was what he said. And that clip, every single Republican has been asked about since then. So, but he certainly doesn't care right now because the stock market is still really high. Stock market started to go down within the last few days, this week and Friday, I think. So I think the last 3 days or so, the stock market has actually been down. I wouldn't be surprised if it peaked because we have lots of bad macroeconomic issues right now. Lots of crazy things happening in this world, but oil prices continue to go up. And the Strait of Hormuz is never going to open, pretty much. Interest rates, that's the biggest problem we have right now, is interest rates. They're going up really fast. And we have the new Fed chair coming in who promised Trump he would cut rates, and now he can't cut rates. So now actually the consensus is that they will raise rates this year. Inflation is off the hook. It's going to be higher than Biden. So Trump will, they still blame Biden for pretty much everything. You know, even the inflation now, which you can 100% blame on the war in Iran and the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. So normally, like I said, I've said before, normally the price of oil and inflation and stuff isn't necessarily the president's fault. In this case, it totally is. And it's going to be higher than Biden. It looks like, the way it's going up. It went up a lot last month. Officially, it's 3.8% year over year. Officially, it's higher than the rate that wages are increasing. So before he used to say, oh, well, inflation is going up, but at least wages are going up faster. That's not true anymore, at least for the last year. It's just going to get worse every single month. Diesel is record highs in several states. Diesel is at a record high, higher than under Biden. They're about to run out of engine oil. That's going to be, I guess, the first casualty. AutoZone put out a bulletin about that. So I got my oil changed. No, they seriously are going to run out of engine oil, apparently. AutoZone put out a warning that says they're going to be like 40% down. It's unprecedented in the history of their company and stuff. So oil will, at a minimum, for your engine, will get more expensive. Gas is the highest it's been since the war started at my local gas station. Currently $5.85 for cash. That's the highest it's been since the war started. So oil is currently, Brent is at 111. WTI is for June, I think is at 108 or something. I'm getting the July. For July, it's at 104 WTI, but for June, it's higher. So the nearest rating for oil. So oil is up. I'm long oil. I bought Chevron stock. I listened to some commodities guy says that you got to buy that everybody's going to sell their AI stocks and get energy stocks pretty much, or commodities stocks. And that gold is going down. Silver is going down. So save your money for when those go lower. They're going down, I think, because bonds are going, rates are going up. So that's why gold and silver are selling off, which I had planned for. So I'm going to be buying in the future when it gets lower. But I think it will probably still get lower. I might start buying now, but they've gone down a lot. Recently, silver and gold. Silver was down like 5% today or something again. Power Justin says, Massie 2028. Yeah, should I wager on him? I feel stupid not wagering on him, but honestly, I don't want to just bet to lose. It'd be stupid. It'd be like throwing my money away. The bets are rolling in, though, on Kalshi. You can see them in real time. Okay, polls are closing in 5 seconds. Polls are closing in 5 seconds. So let's see. This is the one for all the marbles. We hope that at least one person, I mean, this guy, I wonder what Thomas Massie would do next. he would turn into an all-out critic of Donald Trump, even though right now he's not totally a critic of Donald Trump. He says, "Oh, I voted with Trump all the time," and so forth, because he still has to cater to MAGA retards. Let's see. Massie, Gallrein. Okay. Hold on. Let's go to, all live results. Okay, let's see. Should I go to NBC News? Usually I go to New York Times. Let's see. Okay. Last update, 6 p.m. Eastern, 0.0% so far have come in. What are the other races we have going on? Are there any other races where it's another person that Trump doesn't like? So far, 0% in. I would tune into Steve Kornacki or something, but I can't show you guys that live. What else is in the news? Ebola. There's like all kinds of scary things in the news. There's the worst El Nino in 50 years, which means there's going to be mass starvation, apparently, according to some. All things are looking very bleak so far, like economically and otherwise. There's a huge El Nino forming, which apparently the last time it happened, like 5 million people died. And there were maybe like way fewer people on the planet when it happened. Yeah, I'm sure Lookner is covering it. I know. I'm sure I have much competition. That's all right, though. I haven't been live in a long time. I want you guys to know that I'm still alive. All right, polls are closed in the eastern part of Kentucky. Oh, geez. How long are we going to have to wait for these results? Share this tab. Eastern part of Kentucky. So that means there's a western part of Kentucky where polls aren't closed. Well, I think maybe he's in eastern Kentucky, though, so that'd be good. Thomas Massie is one of the smartest people in Congress. Went to MIT, invented a bunch of stuff, made money on companies. All right, let's check the odds. The odds are still the same. Lots of money pouring in. Thomas Massie's up to 40%, so a little bit better. Hasn't AI cured Ebola yet? Lots of backlash against AI. So lots of backlash against AI. That's a big story. Data centers. I think AI companies are in trouble, probably, because nobody wants data centers and everybody hates AI. They booed a bunch of people at who spoke at college graduate. I guess college graduations are going on right now. Eric Schmidt was at one of them talking about how AI was going to change the world, and he basically got booed every time he brought up AI. They're talking about how China, like Mr. Wonderful is saying that China is behind the anti-data center movement. They're building the biggest data center on earth in Utah. And some people in Lake Reno, I think, are losing electricity because of it. Trump promised 50% lower energy prices and 50% lower gas prices a couple of years ago. We have neither and the opposite, actually, at this time. Everybody hates Trump, especially on his economic agenda. His approval is somewhere around 40% overall, but his approval on the economy is somewhere around 20 some percent, like 25%. Terrible. His approval on the Iran war is terrible. The Iran war is not going to end anytime soon. Just like I've been saying literally since the first few days of the Iran war, when Donald Trump has been saying the opposite almost every single day. First of all, that we lost the war. And second of all, that the Strait of Hormuz is going to be pretty much permanently restricted. And now Iran is a rising power. The Babylon Bee actually made fun of Donald Trump today. I took note of that. The Babylon Bee says, White House insists high gas prices are a small price to pay for accomplishing nothing in Iran. That's what the Babylon Bee says today. White House insists high gas prices are a small price to pay for accomplishing nothing in Iran. Oh, that's about right. He says he doesn't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon, but no matter what happens, he's not going to get an agreement better than Obama's agreement, which was when Iran said they don't want a nuclear weapon. And actually, before the war started, they were in negotiations where Iran had agreed already not to pursue a nuclear weapon. So this war, this inflation, all of it is a complete waste of time. And Donald Trump says he doesn't care. People told him oil prices would go to $200 a barrel, and he did it anyway. He assumed the stock market would go down 25%, and he did it anyway. Oil is only at $100 so far. What did he say today? He said that's peanuts. I believe he said that's peanuts about gas prices because they're not that high yet. But it's not summertime yet when gas prices are usually seasonally the highest. It's already going to be the highest ever for Memorial Day weekend. So we are already breaking records. But like when you take inflation into account, gas prices still aren't that high. People aren't really using less gas. Yeah, which they'll have to do. There's no demand destruction yet. I'll play you some stuff. Oh, yeah, here we go. Here's what he said about the stock market.
We had just before COVID, we were so successful. You know, we had the best economy we've ever had in my first term. This term is going to blow it away, I think. And you see all the numbers. Even during the war, we have the highest stock market we've ever had. I thought the market would go down 25%. And I was okay with that to get rid of a nuclear potential holocaust. Would have been a nuclear holocaust. So going down 25% is okay if you're going to get rid of a nuclear holocaust. So most people agree with me. When I'm with people and they let's say, oh, gee, why do... And I say, here's the problem. Is it okay for Iran? And they are very volatile people. I'm being nice. Is it okay for Iran to have a nuclear weapon? Everybody says no. I said, then we have nothing further to discuss. You know, we had just before COVID.
So he said this a bunch of times. He said he doesn't think about American people's economic situation at all. He said that. He said that if the stock market went down 25%, that's okay. He said if oil goes to $200 a barrel, that's okay. So he's nowhere near capitulation if he's serious. There's already a lot of pressure on him. I'm sure there are lots of reports that Republicans are unhappy because gas prices are so high and they want him to make sure to open the Strait of Hormuz as soon as possible. But we literally have no tools to do that besides capitulation. And if he says he's okay with the stock market going down 25%, well, we're going to get a chance to find out. Basically, if he's telling the truth. we're actually going, the longer it goes, the more likely it is that we'll find out if what he's saying is true, because the stock market will go down 25% at least from where it is now, and oil will go to $200 if the Strait of Hormuz stays closed for a couple more months, which and once again, unless we capitulate, Iran's certainly not going to. Iran knows he's too chicken shit to bomb them. Obviously, we've threatened them a million times, and now he's threatened them a million times, and he never follows through. I'm following the results from Kentucky. Here's a live updating screen. There are 0 votes in so far. So we're here to cover the Massie election, the most important election of our lifetime. No, I'm laughing because that's what they always say. The next election will be the most important of our lifetime too. You just wait every single time. Every single time. It's never been worse, etc. The future literally depends on you going out and voting for whichever douche or turd sandwich they put in front of you. Democrats and Republicans are coming together on the anti-Jew issue. So that's nice to know. Lots of people talking about mending fences or building bridges. Since my last show, I believe, wow, names really aren't coming to me today. Hold on one sec. The kid has come out as Nick J. Fuentes has come out as a Democrat since my last show. Nick says he's a moderate Democrat, which is fine. I guess I am too. I mean, I was always a Democrat, and actually I wanted to vote for Tulsi Gabbard, and actually I believe in like universal health care and stuff. So, and for example, Democrats like Thomas Massie, for example, I think. So actually there are, but people like Candace Owens, who's the other big one? The girl from Young Turks, Anna Kasparian, like people on the right, like Anna Kasparian. It all started, kind of, some of it started from the Charlie Kirk assassination, actually, a little bit. Anna Kasparian said she was watching Candace Owens, for example. So a lot of people on the right like Anna Kasparian. So who was it? There were various people saying we should build bridges. I think probably Tucker too. Since my last show, I don't know if the numbers came out for Tucker Carlson. He has the biggest show on earth, apparently. I don't watch, actually. It's just like not that exciting for me. I don't watch much actually anymore. I spend a lot of time on Twitter, but I don't watch too many shows. Either they have exactly the same opinion as me, so I don't care, or I think their opinion is stupid, so I don't care. But I try to listen to people with different opinions. But I've had an opinion about the Iran war for a long time. I can listen to lots of people analyze the Iran war in exactly the same way that I did from the very beginning, which a lot of people have now. There's an article in The Atlantic where somebody said basically that we lost the war, and gave all the reasons for it. Apparently, Iran still has 90% of their missile capacity left, according to U.S. intelligence. As far as the latest thing from Trump, he said that the Gulf states told him not to attack Iran today. He was supposedly going to attack Iran today. And supposedly the Gulf states told him not to. Well, a few different reports came out. One report said that people in the Gulf states had no idea what he's talking about. That was one report from earlier today, that many officials who were reached out to by the media had no idea that he was planning to do an attack today, supposedly, which he supposedly postponed because the Arabs told him they didn't want him to. One report said the Arabs didn't want him to because they were scared because Iran will obliterate them. One report said that the Pentagon is worried because Iranian air defenses are better than ever, and that they've also analyzed flight patterns of the U.S. warplanes and are going to be much better at shooting them down, and that we have basically kind of predictable patterns of how we bomb them. So apparently we've been and that's how they shot down the F-15 and they damaged an F-35 too. So that's what the Pentagon is apparently. So those are the various reports since Trump did his taco yesterday. According to Israel, we're about to attack all the time. So it's hard to put any faith in literally almost anything. But according to Israeli media, we're always about to attack. We've been about to attack for at least the last couple of weeks, maybe month. It's been imminent that we're going to attack because the negotiations have broken down. That's what Israeli media keeps saying over and over again. Israel's obviously itching to attack Iran and bomb their infrastructure. But obviously, if they do that, then that's guaranteed economic catastrophe, because Iran is guaranteed to take out all of the energy infrastructure in the Gulf and probably close the other strait in the Red Sea, the Bab al-Mandeb Strait. So that's what they threaten to do. No reason to think they can't do it, given that they have almost all their missile capacity remaining. So Trump and his associates keep lying about it. They keep saying that they're down to like 25% of their missile capacity, but our own intelligence reports say they have 90% left. Evento Globus, this is another lie that keeps coming out, that Iran murdered 40,000 protesters, right? Like that's a completely fantasy-based number, not verified by anything. It might have been a few thousand, as low as, but the 40,000 number, remember, it was 30,000 originally, and then they upped it to 40,000, but that's based on nothing. There's no verification of that. And many of the protesters may have been armed and may have actually been trying to kill government officials. Like a number of government officials were killed by protesters. So it wasn't like they were all peaceful protesters either. Not saying they don't kill peaceful protesters, but they make up a lot of stuff. No, it's not okay, but we haven't done anything. We're not trying to help them, though. So if you care about the protesters, well, then what are we doing to help the protesters? We're threatening to bomb their power plants. So that's what they get. We're threatening to annihilate their civilization. So we're not doing anything to take out the regime. We're not planning to. So we obviously don't care about the protesters. Is it okay to kill peaceful protesters? No, it's not okay. But we haven't done anything to affect any change as far as that goes, and we have no plans to. As far as our government is concerned right now, we're going to keep the same. We're going to keep the mullahs in power, and we just want them to give up their nuclear weapons. Trump has said he doesn't even care about the nuclear dust. He says he doesn't even care, actually, whether we get the nuclear dust, and now he's only doing it for optics. That's what he said. He said, oh, yeah, if I have to do it because otherwise the press is going to say that, That's what he said, literally. It's like, it's not even that important to get the nuclear dust because it's buried under a bunch of rubble and stuff. And it's questionable whether anybody can even get it out, like including the Iranians. But they're not going to give it to us anyway. But he's insisting on it for optical reasons. All right, we have no results. I can only do this for so long. Well, it's only 3:20 so far. People, women don't wear headscarves in Iran. There's lots of images of that. They don't do anything to women that don't wear headscarves in Iran. And the raping is mostly done by Israel, actually. Why don't we nuke Israel? Could we do that? I'd rather we did that. If you really care about human rights. They don't rape women for not wearing headscarves. You can see lots of images of women not wearing headscarves in Iran. They're not forced to. If that's what really worries you. If wearing a headscarf is really that bad. But there's like plenty of video of women on the streets without headscarves. They're just like us, pretty much over there, walking dogs, having coffee, etc. But go move to Israel or something. They're the ones raping Palestinians. So there's a news report from the New York Times about the rape of Palestinians in Israeli jails. And there we go. Oh boy, that's not good. So some results just came in. And so that's the first results. Ed Gallrein, 67%, but I don't know where the results are from. So I can't even give you really good analysis. Oh, it's only 30 votes. It's only 45 votes. I guess it's only 45 votes. So you can't base much on that. But so far, 30-15 for Ed Gallrein. But that's only 45 votes. So it doesn't seem like that many. Oh, boy. Let's see how slowly they come in. Different counties are listed here. So let's see. What county did those votes come from? There's 1% of votes from one county, from Spencer County. 1% in one county so far. So that doesn't tell us much. 30-15. Oh, there's some more results. Kenton. Okay, here's some more results, which are more serious. 55% for Gallrein. So to 45% for Massie. So there's actually about a 400 vote difference so far. So we have some results coming in. Yes, so far Gallrein is ahead by 400 votes. So not very many. Now it's only 55-45. Let's see what the odds are doing. Odds are surging right now for Ed Gallrein. He's now up to 83% chance. Massie is down to 17% chance based on the results that came in. 16% now. So now if you thought Massie was going to win, now it might be worth placing a bet if you know anything about the places where the votes are coming in. But it's still not very many votes. Only 400 vote difference. Obviously that can change. But the odds, very quickly, 14% now, 15%, Thomas Massie. 87%. Oops, hold on, it's changing. Jeez. Odds are jumping around. Yeah, 86% for Ed Gallrein right now so far. Odds are changing very quickly. I'll share that tab. That's the odds on Kalshi, live odds. Now it might be worth betting $50 because now you could win a lot of money. Maybe I will. Because I don't think that many votes have come in yet. 13% chance. Okay. Let's see. I want to bet on Thomas Massie, 17 cents. Now it's coming. Okay, 17 cents. Let's see if it goes down further. 16 cents. Okay. So let's go ahead and spend $25 to win $140. That's pretty good. That's worth it. Okay. I just bet on Thomas Massie because now the odds are good enough that I can at least win money for it. We now have skin in the game. So now it matters. Now it's interesting, as they say. Now it's gotten interesting. All right. Let's see. No more votes have come in. Only 3.3% of the votes are in so far. So it doesn't tell us too much. Fifth Cube, you want to call in? Yeah, you can call in. I'll open the phone. Do you know the number? 650 gay taxi. You can call if you want. I'll put you on the air. You want me to put the phone number up? Laurie says Israel owns the United States. If Thomas Massie loses, yeah, they do kind of. But it's more Donald Trump. I would say it's more Donald Trump than Israel money. But Israel money obviously has a lot to do with it. So they do say this is the most important election for Israel, most important congressional primary for Israel. Let's see. Thomas Massie's odds have gone down further. Now Ed Gallrein is up to 89% so far. You're on the air.
Hey, what's up, Nathan?
Not much.
I'm in the car, so just let me know if the audio's bad. I can switch it.
It's not so bad.
Yeah. Dude, I called in remember, I called in 2 years ago, and we were worrying about Chinese spy balloons. Remember that?
I remember the Chinese spy balloons. I covered that live.
I mean, I'm not saying you remember my call, and I'm just like, it's amazing how much things have changed, that was like a big deal, and now that would happen and people wouldn't even give a shit,
I know. Now we have El Nino. We have two viruses.
Oh yeah, we're supposed to have the super El Nino, right, this year?
Ebola now, and then hantavirus. So those are the things we're thinking about these days.
I mean, it seems like it's funny because it's like the narrative is shifted to the narrative, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like the narrative is more important than the reality, I mean, maybe it's been that way for quite some time, but it's like even the normies are starting. It's like the veil's lifting, it seems like that. Something happened. I can't remember what it was last week or whatever, and then it was just you could just tell right away. Everyone's like, "Oh, that's bullshit."
Right.
Sorry for the language.
That's all right.
But it's
a lot.
But it's just, and so I guess I don't have a lot, but I guess my question, and maybe it's not really. I don't expect a solid answer, but I mean, it seems like, and I'll just say the economic indicators are flashing red again. What is this blue owl and private credit has been going crazy.
Yeah.
And now the bond market is going parabolic.
Yeah,
right?
I know. Yeah.
So and then nobody's talking about that. That's not a big deal. Like I said 5 years ago, that would have been all over YouTube and everything.
Yeah, I know. But now everybody's
this is the end of the economy.
Yeah. Right. Everybody's still talking about AI stocks and stuff, and and like
I mean,
SpaceX
Go ahead.
IPO and yeah.
I mean, I think we've already, the AI is already kind of played out. And like I heard someone saying, like the whole data center, the data center thing is just a boondoggle too. It's like a monorail or something like that. It's like, oh, we're going to build this big infrastructure project and spend all this money, but it's just a boondoggle is what it seems like,
Well, they haven't. It looks like they're making some money with AI. I mean, there is some money being made, but it's certainly still a question about whether there's enough money being made from the
right to justify the massive. Right, to justify, and then the massive amount of inputs it takes to even get the thing running.
Right,
they said that
right.
there was one in North Carolina or something that they found out they didn't even like sign up for a water bill. They just like hooked them up to water, and they were take 30 million gallons of water or something like that.
Oh, really? I hadn't heard that, but yeah, they do use a lot of water and certainly a lot of electricity. So,
and I mean, like, is that just a side benefit that then they can, it's like, oh, that's going to limit it. It's limiting the energy that's for the people, right? The resources that we have, so they can, squeeze us more there.
Yep.
Because these, you think they're going to get to a point where, like, with these, if they're going to push these small nuclear reactors or whatever, or fusion, I mean, they're getting to a point where, I'm not saying it's free energy, but it should be much cheaper if they can create those, if they have those kind of technologies that are ready to go. But then if they say, oh, we got to spend all this energy and all this water on AI infrastructure, then, that we're not going to really see the benefit of it, or at least that's the play,
Yeah, well, or we'll receive a negative benefit from it because people will lose their jobs,
Well, and that's where I was going, and it just seems like, I mean, private credit is crazy. Everybody I know, I mean, the just around here, like the gas prices went up, and it went up like $1 in like 2 weeks, a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see like I drive by the one dealership, and there's all of a sudden there's three. Like one day there's not, and then there's three big 3,500 trucks sitting there, and I'm like, well, that's somebody that couldn't afford to put the diesel in their truck,
Right. Right.
So I guess it's like, can they keep kicking this can down the road, or is there gonna have to pull the rug out at some point? And it just, people are talking about, oh, there's going to, like they're setting us up for a lockdown and then all this antivirus and stuff. But I mean, it doesn't seem like, the same playbook isn't going to work,
Right.
I don't even think if they did some Project Bluebeam that would get the kind of response that they, but I don't know. I mean, I didn't expect that many people to freak out when COVID started the way it did. So I guess it's hard to say.
Yeah. The question to me is whether they can just print money again the same way they have every single time, because that's going to make inflation worse. And actually, this new guy,
Right.
Kevin Warsh, apparently doesn't like expanding the balance sheet. So even though he said he would cut rates, he won't be able to cut rates. And then he doesn't really like expanding the balance sheet. So I don't know if he's going to print money. And anyway, I don't know if we can do it again, because the last time we did it, obviously inflation went way the hell up. And this time we have a supply shock that's causing the inflation problem. And it doesn't even matter what you do to rates. It doesn't solve that problem. So I don't know what we're going to, I mean, I'm a doomer pretty much. I think it's pretty much.
How can they raise rates if everyone's unemployed?
Right. And how can they lower rates if there's terrible inflation? Right.
Yeah. And I mean, you're down there in Southern Cal. It's the level of debt on all levels is just, it just seems like it's just, I don't know if it's like at an inflection point, but it just seems like it's complete. The debt in the like the everyday economy is completely saturated. what the average car payment is close to $1,000 a month now, $800 a month.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
I just don't know. I don't know how people are pulling their shit together. You know, like.
Well, they aren't really. I mean, all the numbers are bad. Like credit cards are behind at the highest rate ever. Car payments are behind at the highest rate ever. And then debt is at the highest it's been. Credit card debt, mortgage debt, margin debt. It's all set up for us to have the worst crash of all time, pretty much. But everybody's sleeping through it.
Right. And it's so funny because like debt, they've made debt and credit such a, it's like the one thing you can't talk to people about, right? You can't talk to your friends. You can't discuss it like in flight, you know, like no one wants to admit like how much their credit card payment is, you know?
Right.
But I mean, like, you know, I always tell people like, you know, biblically, like for every 40 years they had a debt jubilee and they just wiped everybody's debt clear, you know?
Right.
So like, and then why is there not like a populist movement to do that? You think with like the student loan debt, I mean, it kind of just fizzled out. I mean, I guess Occupy was kind of the start of that. But what would happen if there was just like a complete consumer debt strike? You know, what do you think with that? Is that something that people could even get behind? And then what would happen? You know?
Well, I mean, the thing is you can't go to jail for not paying your debt, for one thing. So it's certainly something that could happen possibly. I mean, they say young people are obsessed with their credit scores. So they like paying their debts, and credit scores are actually higher than they've been a lot because of like Gen Z and stuff. So I think we're a ways away from that, and things just aren't bad enough yet. That's all. Things just aren't bad enough yet.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but I mean, you got this huge cohort of college and recent college grads, even people that have been out of school for 10, 15, 20, or 30 years with this massive. And I'm all that debt's going to come on. It's the deadline for refiling your student loan debt is July.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they sent me a notice. I've been on furlough since COVID.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, and now they're making everybody go on a new payment plan.
Wow.
Yeah, and then it's like, you know, at some point, like, I mean. It's just like anything else. You don't have the debt. You don't have the income to service the debt. You're bankrupt. Like,
yep.
I guess that's kind of what we're going to find out. What happens when an entire country goes bankrupt at the same time?
Yeah, pretty much.
You know?
Yeah, and I think people are just going to wait until it happens before waking up too.
But I mean, at that point, they're going to have all the assets already. Like, people are going to sell. I mean, like, you know, I have to sell silver to pay my bills. Like. You know what I mean? I wish I could have waited. I would have to sell a lot less now. But, you know, like, people are going to have to sell their shit, you know. But I guess if everything's on credit, it's I mean, you know, like, you didn't own it in the first place. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's funny that you said that the millennials are obsessed with their credit score because, you know, I've heard that Chinese people, and for the most part, they really like the social credit system over there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it allows it, like we talked about credit, it allows them to get like instant credit. There's no like approval process, and you know, like you can transact really easily, and then you know it's like Black Mirror. I guess you just know who you can trust or who you're not supposed to trust.
Right.
But supposedly, and I don't know, you know, I just saw this. There's thousands and thousands of Chinese youth that have been locked out of the system at this point, you know?
Yeah, that's right. For saying the wrong thing on social media or whatever, right?
And then they're just like, yeah, like they can't access the economic system.
They can't take trains and
they can't. Yeah, I mean everything's on your smartphone, right?
Right.
Anyway, I noticed you've been going online lately, and I had that memory about talking to you about the Chinese weather balloon, you know, spy balloon. It's just, you know, things accelerate, and then you don't notice it until you kind of take a step back, right? Because we're just in this stuff, you know? go.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Good talking to you.
Yeah, no problem.
All right.
Yeah, bud.
See ya. All right. No more votes have come in. It's only a 500 vote difference so far. So I don't know what the analysis is as far as where the results are coming from and all of that. It's only a 500 vote difference so far. I will show the tab. There it is, 55 to 45%. Yes, I'm a doomer. I think it's all going to collapse. Thomas Massie actually went down as low as 10%. Now he's at 15% again. I put in my bet at 17%, so I'm not down that much so far. He still has a chance. I mean, he still has a chance to win. There's the live results. I have no idea how long it's going to take. Let's see if I can get any analysis. I'll see if Kornacki is live. Let's see. I'm live. Agenda Free TV is live. Let's see if Kornacki is live. No, I don't think so. Well, he might be on NBC News. Kentucky primary. Live from Thomas Massie rally. Oh, there's a Thomas Massie speech. They're live from the speech right now. Okay, here we go. I can tune into this. I got to at least listen to it. See what they're saying. There's 6 states holding primaries today. I don't know what else is important. But like I said, this is going to determine whether Trump just has the ultimate say on everything. There are more polls closing in Kentucky in 18 minutes. So I guess the rest of Kentucky, but I don't know if that matters for Massie's district. There's races going on all over the place. Only 500 votes difference. Eventually I have to tune out. I'll have to go to work if this doesn't happen a little bit faster. But I'm just paying attention to the odds. The odds are actually getting closer. Thomas Massie is back to 16%. Ed Gallrein got as high as 90% at one point. So he still has a chance. Not much chance. But yeah, if this one goes badly, then pretty much the problem is going to be that Trump, after he's president, everybody's still going to have to do whatever he says, because he'll just go on Twitter, say he doesn't like somebody, and then everybody's going to vote against that person, I guess. In this case, it's pretty bad because the candidate wasn't that good, Ed Gallrein. Timothy Michaels, Massie is losing at this time, but very few votes are in. Only 3.7% of votes are in. Massie's losing by 500 votes. Jack McClain says voting isn't real. All right, we'll wait until 4 and see if more results come in. That's in 15 minutes for my time. So here's the live odds. 87%, 88% for Ed. 13% now for Thomas Massie. No more votes have come in. I feel like I have to get some water. There's the map. Ed Gallrein is ahead in those areas. That's the Kentucky 4th district. So it looks like all of their polls are closed. Looks like that whole part of the state is in the eastern part of the state. No more votes in. So let's see if more stuff comes out at 4. Let's see if I have any other things to play for you guys. Oh, as far as bombing Iran, let's show you some more stuff. We were supposedly going to bomb Iran today. Now he says maybe this weekend, maybe next week. Let's see.
Well, I mean, I'm saying 2 or 3 days, maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday, something, maybe early next week, a limited period of time. Because we can't let them have a nuclear weapon. If they had a nuclear weapon, they would start with Israel. They would blow it up, and they would blow it up fast. But they'd blow it up, and I'll tell you what, they go after Saudi Arabia, they go after Kuwait.
So anyway, that's what he said. He said he postponed the strikes for 2 or 3 days. 2 or 3 days would actually be Thursday. Maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe next week. So he keeps pushing his own deadline back. I don't know if he's ever going to do it, honestly. The results will be catastrophic if he does. Then the price of oil will really spike. Then the stock market will really crash. Here he is saying he was getting ready to do a major attack tomorrow. Here's El Nino. That was 1877, the worst El Nino ever. Apparently, this is this year. Although we didn't have satellites in 1877, so who knows what that image is. Then this is 2026. This is this El Nino, which will apparently cause massive famine and starvation, which we're already having a problem. And we also had the fertilizer crisis. Trump has been trading stocks like crazy and then promoting them. Here's the message from AutoZone that they're going to lose 40% of their engine oil stocks. Here's Lindsey Graham.
Top of the list.
So you're calling for strikes on the energy infrastructure, Senator?
I'm calling to hurt this regime. If you do the same old thing, you're going to get the same results. Hurt them more. Maybe they'll make a deal if you hurt them enough. But right now,
maybe
I think they're trying to wait us out. I think they're playing games. And in the words of the president, I think they're crazy. I think he's right.
Senator,
so he says maybe they'll make a deal if we bomb them. So that's as good as our strategy is. Here's Ed Gallrein saying Trump is playing 5-dimensional chess.
During his speech, Gallrein noted how the Kentucky business community and farmers are being squeezed by the rising cost of fuel and fertilizer. That prompted me to ask how he feels about the war in Iran, which has caused prices to soar.
The president is playing 5-dimensional chess. He is resetting the entire global power structure. So let him work through that, to reset that, to set the conditions for just like President Reagan did. Exactly like President Reagan did.
During his speech, Gallrein noted how
So, president is playing 5-dimensional chess, apparently. Here's Trump talking about his concern about voters who say they're having trouble paying prices.
When you hear Trump voters, Alex says, I voted for you 3 times. He can't handle the costs. And he's not for this foreign conflict.
I hate it.
He's not for the foreign conflict. But Roy in Pennsylvania, he's a retired farmer. He can't handle the fuel going up, and he says
it's going to come down very fast.
And so,
look, disappointed.
I'm just telling you
when
what
you say to him, Roy, Alex, We got a problem. We just hit the highest stock market price ever. By the way, then when I went in. Now, again,
It's higher.
with the war, it's higher than it was when I went in. Think of that.
I agree.
The 401ks at their all-time high. There are more people working right now in the United States of America than at any point ever in the history of our country.
True. When you hear Trump,
There you go. It says stock market's high. Well, a lot of people don't care. Almost all stocks are owned by the top 10%. So the thing is, actually, a lot of people don't care and aren't affected by the stock market being the highest it's ever been. And it's not the highest it's ever been anymore, not currently. It went down a little. It's close, though. Close to the highest it's ever been. But oil prices keep going up pretty much every day. July WTI is at 104. I think Brent is at like 111. All right, guys. I can't stay with it forever. Tune in. Oh, here's Kornacki talking about it. Let's see. Okay. So it sounds like he's going to lose. I'll stay tuned until all the polls close just in case it makes a difference. I think the polls are already closed in his part of the state, but let's see if it makes a difference. So that's his analysis, which is probably why is that it's so far it's the early vote, which is already heavily against Massie. Bob Ross Antichrist says Arsenal just won the league. Been waiting 22 years. Oh, congratulations. Congratulations. Arsenal won the league. That's good. Congratulations. I haven't been watching much football. Who's your team for the World Cup? Thanks for the super chats today. Appreciate it. Buy some t-shirts. Go to truthclothing.io. We have t-shirts for $5 and $10. Somebody just bought $100 worth of t-shirts. They got, I think, 17 shirts for less than $100, including ship, or for a little over $100, including shipping. 17 shirts. They were all $5 a piece. So check it out. Truthclothing.io. Oh, there more votes came in. It's still the same difference, though. So now he's ahead by 600 votes. 5% in. But the percentage is staying about the same. So it looks like it's going to have to be unusual, according to Steve Kornacki. It's going to have to be unusual results for Massie to have a chance. That's what they're saying. Because so far it's the early votes that are being counted, and usually the Trump voters come in same day. So it looks like the odds are against it. Well, that's certainly according to Kalshi. Oh, Thomas Massie is back to 17% chance, though. I could sell now and not lose any money, but it's $25. That's okay. So Ed Gallrein is down to 82% chance. So his odds have gone down a little bit. Thomas Massie back to a 17% chance. That's still not very good. But we'll see. It's about 6 minutes to 4. Let's see if more votes come in then. $600 vote difference. Still not on, it's still only 5% of the vote. But it's not looking good, apparently, for Thomas Massie. But I wonder what he'll do next. That'll be the question. I think he has a chance running for national office because Democrats like him. You know, the new the horseshoe theory people. Independents really like him. Independents really like him. There are lots of independents. So he'd be an interesting presidential candidate if he would ever run. Certainly going to open him up to do a lot of things. He could get a job for a news network, and then he still has to serve out his term, which goes until the end of the year if he loses the primary. And he'll become a very prominent Trump critic if that happens, which he really isn't now because he's still trying to win an election. All right, we have 4 minutes or so before 4 o'clock when maybe more results will come in. Oops, more results came in. Looks like percentages are moving in Ed Gallrein's favor. Thomas Massie's odds somehow are actually going up. He's up to 18% chance. I could sell now for a 2-cent profit. 19%. Oh, interesting. Now back to 17%. So it's staying pretty steady, even though the votes are coming in. Let's see if more come in at 4 o'clock. Terry Miller says Massie losing may save him from a tragic airplane death because Israel will kill him. All right, so I played you some of the clips of Trump. You guys know what's going on with Iran pretty much. Republicans are pretty much definitely going to lose in the elections these midterms. Wonder if more results will come in right away in a couple minutes. Polls closing. $800 votes right now, 6% in. Polls closing in a minute and a half. Don't know if there's any counties where Thomas Massie is going to do well. But it looks like he's going to lose. Looks like he's going to lose, which is bad news. That means Trump will be very happy. $30 seconds. But it looks like this whole thing must have already closed because there's nothing further west. So if nothing comes in, I'm going to sign out. You'll be able to tune into No Agenda TV. We'll be covering it. I'll tune into that. Sorry, I don't have more stamina, but I got to go out to work. Okay, polls closed. Yeah, I don't see any more results. I'm going to let you guys tune into another program. I'm going to tune out. Thanks for tuning in. Good to see you guys again. The news is the same. We are headed towards apocalypse, almost guaranteed at this time. Almost guaranteed. So I hope everybody's looking forward to it. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Good seeing you. Thanks for the super chats. Appreciate it. Thanks, Pirate Justin and Bob Ross, Antichrist. Congratulations to Arsenal. All right. Good luck, Thomas Massie. We'll see but it looks like he doesn't have a chance based on what I saw. So I'm glad I didn't bet more money on it. All right. We'll see you guys at the next one. Maybe when the stock market crashes or something like that, or when we attack. All right. Until next time, for now, that's what it is.